For weeks I've been advocating that NXT needs to give us Gargano versus Atami at TakeOver Brooklyn. I figure Ultimate newly turned heel versus Ultimate just returned babyface. What they gave us tonight and what we could get at NXT TakeOver could be even better. Let's talk about it. What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check, here with your August 2nd NXT review. Gonna get the house cleaning out of the way first, as we always do. Number one, go to the annotation up there if you want to be involved in the September Ask the Phoenix Q&A. I know a couple of people have already put some questions down there. That's great. Number two, and this is just an experiment. I don't know how long it's going to last. I'm going to try and toss a couple of my videos over on VidMe. Now, I'm not monetized on this channel. You know that. I'm not making a cent off this channel, which is fine. I do this as a hobby. I have a real job. But as far as interaction with you guys and whatnot, I know that the YouTube adpocalypse, censorship, shadow ban bullshit is keeping wrestling-related content from getting to people's subscription boxes. So it was suggested to me by a couple people to try out VidMe, which I literally tried to set up about 20 minutes ago. So there's a couple of videos on there. Last week's NXT review is on there, and the Ask the Phoenix Q&A is on there. So if you want to go check it out over there, all the videos are still going to be here. That's not going to change. I'm just looking at it as sort of a second platform. I know there's monetary shit built into VidMe. I'm not billing anybody for fuck all. This is not a channel, and this is not a I hate to say a brand because that sounds really cocky, but what I do here is not for money. This is just for fun. This is my hobby. This is what I do to get away, get my mind off of my actual job, because especially recently my actual job has been kind of shit. So if you want to go check me out on VidMe, it's the same thing, Spaz Phoenix, the logo's the same. I'm super lazy like that. I would appreciate it though, toss the links around, etc. I would really, really appreciate it. NXT this week was built around two things. We knew Aleister Black was going to do something, and we got the return of Johnny Gargano, which started off the show. And they did a really cool thing here, because he came out with the DIY music that we all love. I love DIY's music. As far as an instrumental track from WWE goes, look at some of the ones we've gotten recently with people like Jason Jordan being rebranded and Big Cass being rebranded, and they haven't exactly been winners. But I love the DIY music. It was great. It was great get you ramped up music. It was like when the Hardy Boys were new, the effect that their music had on you and still has on me because I'm a mark. Johnny Gargano comes out to the old DIY music, but stops on the stage and he sort of puts his finger up, says no, no, no. Starts, you know, new Titantron, new music. If you listen to the chords of the new song, it's some chick singing, I think, and it's all good. It's all about Heart of Gold and all that kind of crap. Very, very Johnny Gargano, super babyface, Daniel Bryan, Sami Zayn type feel to it. But if you listen to the chords, it is still the old DIY music, just turned into an actual song, which is kind of cool. A little bit of something old, a little bit of something new. That really ties together. The Johnny Wrestling chants started before this guy even hit the ring, and Raul Mendoza, whoever the fuck he is the poor soul that had to stand in the ring across from him. The match goes exactly as you would think it would go. The fans chant Johnny Wrestling the entire time. Johnny Gargano works the arm early and often, turns it into a front face lock, a gator roll, a side headlock side headlock takeover. It's not that hard. Shoulder roll by Gargano, pinning reversal sequence, and that roll up rolling kick thing that he does where you think it's going to be an actual, like a schoolboy, but he rolls the guy all the way through and meets him with a kick instead. I think Kalisto has a similar kick. Then he follows up with an arm and a shoulder breaker. Mendoza actually does something and hits a drop kick and some corner chops, and they trade some punches, and then Gargano hits what is, honest to God, my favorite maneuver in his arsenal, and it's not his finisher. It's that beautiful springboard spear he does from the apron to the inside of the ring. I love that. Should be his finisher because it's fucking good. Rolling forearm shots by Gargano, a lariat, enziguri by Mendoza, but an abdominal crossface is the best way. It's like the crippler crossface, but he's got the arm pulled back in the abdominal stretch position. Commentators called it something else. I don't care. Until they give it a real good, sort of cool, appropriate name, I'm calling it the abdominal crossface for fucking reasons. Gargano wins. This is the most obvious result of the night. Welcome back, Johnny Gargano. Can't wait to see what he's going to do. Now, my idea about him taking on Tommy at TakeOver is not going to happen anymore. I just hope they don't pair him up with somebody like Cassius Ohno, because no. I have this terrifying fear that they're going to pair him up with Andrade Cien Almas, which is the bullest of shit. Pair him up. The only singles guy that's left that I want to see him go up against right now, other than Ciampa when he gets back, is Eric Young. But Eric Young is going to be focused on his two proteges going for the tag team titles. We'll talk about that later on as well. Actually, no, according to my notes, we're going to talk about that right now. I'm an idiot, and you're watching me. Hey! The replay, the Authors of Pain Sanity showdown from last week, they make the announcement that's been coming for weeks, let's be real, that these two teams are going to take on each other for the Tag Team Championships at TakeOver Brooklyn. And then we have a promo from Paul Ellering, whole lot of typical Paul Ellering stuff, but basically it caps off with, you need to be prepared because monsters are real. I like it. It's good. I like Paul Ellering. It's really, really bad. It's kind of like the Blake and Murphy thing, where the manager is more over than the team. Alexa Bliss, shout out. But yeah, it was a decent promo. It was Ellering doing his Ellering thing. It's kind of like when Brock Lesnar comes out and Paul Heyman does the Paul Heyman thing. It's good. You got two big, gigantic dudes behind you. You can basically say whatever you want. I still love the spot from a couple weeks ago where the Book of Destruction or the Book of Pain or whatever, the sheets were falling from the ceiling thanks to Sanity, and Nikki Cross just like sitting in all the empty pages and looking crazy and awesome as she is. If she doesn't have a match at TakeOver, that's a crime as well. Speaking of the women's division, Asuka comes out. Asuka is not great on the mic. She's amazing in the ring, not great on the mic. They kept her promo nice and short and sweet. Said in Brooklyn, I'm going to fight Ember Moon for my title. I've beaten her before and I'll beat her again. Now that should get a boo, but she gets a face pop. I think a lot of people are on my train of thought with the whole Ember Moon's great. Ember Moon deserves every opportunity that she should get, but they've held off her opportunity so many times, and there's been such a lull of nothing else that's happened in the WWE, or sorry, the NXT women's division has mattered, because we know it's Ember Moon that's getting the legitimate shot, and that can get tiring, and that is not Ember Moon's fault. If she wins the title at TakeOver, I'll be happy for her, but this booking and this string of delays and injuries that she's gone through have really hurt her, and you can see it when she comes out, because she does come out. She says, I've been doing what I can to get back. I've been fighting to get back to NXT to fight for your title. These people know that I'm ready. You know that I'm ready, and you know that you are not ready for me. Very, very simple. She does her takeoff on the whole nobody is ready for Asuka. That is my terrible Japanese impression that I should probably never do again. Asuka does the respectful handshake, psychs her out and slaps her across the face, and then Ember Moon does demon angry face for reasons. Forearm shot and a beatdown by Moon. Asuka gets the upper hand, tosses her out of the ring, but turns around to celebrate with the crowd, mocking the crowd with the belt, etc., and eats an eclipse from Ember Moon, obviously. And she does this really cool thing. Initially, I wanted to make a weird Gollum joke, but I'm not with the whole Precious thing. She takes out Asuka with the Eclipse, which they're selling like grim death. Everybody, I mean, even it was either Peyton Royce or Billie Kay that legitimately like fucked themselves up from the Eclipse, which is not cool, don't get me wrong. And even, I'm not talking about main roster shit right now, but the Shinsuke versus John Cena match where John Cena took the fall on his head. You guys know I have a mixed history with John Cena, but I don't want to see the guy get fucking paralyzed. He's going to be in Transformers next year. Fuck me. But, yeah, they take her out with the Eclipse. It's all good. And then Ember Moon sees the title in the ring, and she goes to reach for it, and she stops herself. She reaches for it and stops herself, kind of like a Gollum looking at the Precious thing. There, I made the joke anyway. And we're back. Technical difficulties for the win. Talking about Ember Moon reaching for that championship and stopping herself. And I love this. This is a really nice little thing. She left the belt in the middle of the ring next to Asuka, who she had just taken out. And she basically screams to the crowd. She says, I'll touch that when I've earned it, which is fucking wonderful. Shows her motivations going forward, etc. I'm looking forward to the match. I don't want you guys to focus or misinterpret the things that I'm down on about this match, like the booking and and the stalled momentum of Ember Moon and all that sort of thing. I do believe this is going to be an amazing match, and I will honestly not have a problem with Ember Moon winning the championship if she does. But I think they could have set her up for a lot more success. I really do. And it's sad for her. Because I think she has busted her ass, and I think she has come back from, I think it's 2 injuries in her pursuit of the women's championship. It's kind of unfortunate. We then see a promo for the Street Profits. We then see a recorded, pre-recorded interview with Bobby Roode where he talks about Roderick Strong trying to win the Bobby Roode lottery, and talks some shit about Drew McIntyre, about how he left and came back and maybe he's a different guy, but that doesn't matter. There's no room for him in my NXT. And Roderick Strong crashes the interview for reasons, and it really... I like Bobby Roode, but this was not done very well. What is done very well is the slow burn build of Sonya Deville, who takes on Jenna Van Bemmel, who is a gigantic version of Charlotte Flair, basically. You know this match was going to be to put over Sonya Deville, and the great thing that she's... I love her image. I love her whole gimmick. Yes, it's a blatant ripoff of the fact that she's got MMA skills, and they're trying to give her that Ronda Rousey, Brock Lesnar type of image with the shorts and the gloves and the whole fucking bit. I love how they mention Chris Cyborg instead of Ronda Rousey when they're talking about female fighters, with the whole rumored interleague match that's going to happen between Becky Lynch and this chick Chris Cyborg. UFC fans, help me out. I don't know, and I hardly care. So that was fun, but it's a quick match. So some cat and mouse antics from Sonya Deville to begin. She even does the hands behind the back. Go ahead and take a swing at me, which I thought was funny. Lariat by Deville, hangman by Jenna over the ropes, series of strikes and knees by Deville, and this just goes on for a long time. The strikes that Deville pulls off are really, really just sickening. They trade some punches. There's a forearm by this Jenna chick. Roll through triangle choke for the win for Deville. Short, sweet, to the point, did what it needed to do. You got this chick that they're trying to push is really, really tough. Put her in there with somebody significantly bigger than her and have her just break her down methodically. It was fucking great. Hideo Itami, backstage, talks about respect, talks about, you know, Cassius Ohno and everybody else don't respect him. I'm going to get the respect I deserve, rah-de-rah-de-rah. The interviewer, whose name I can't remember and didn't write down because I'm like that, tries to end the interview and says, "Oh, I'm sorry, I have to cut you off. We need to go back to the ring." Hideo Itami keeps going. He grabs the microphone, talking in Japanese, and he basically saunters down to the ring, and he's talking in Japanese, and then he goes back to English. I deserve respect. He kind of gets repetitive. I deserve respect. I should get respect. You should give me respect. You all owe me respect, etc., etc., etc. They all try to get him out of the ring. The ring announcer tries to get him out of the ring. The referee tries to get him out of the ring, and he on the mic he says, "I don't care who's next." And who's next is Aleister Black, which is fucking great. They have a stare down. Itami goes to leave. Itami stops, goes to take a cheap shot at Aleister Black, eats the black mass, and then eats fucking canvas like it's dinner. And then we go to commercial break. This is what I'm talking about. Like I say, anybody that's been watching me the past couple of weeks knows that I've really been pushing the idea of Itami versus Gargano at TakeOver. This will be better. They didn't book Itami like a chicken shit heel. He stood there face to face, nose to nose with Aleister Black before he decided to try and take his cheap shot. He's not being the chicken shit cowardly heel, which is great. These two are going to kick each other's heads off. Look at the match that Hideo Itami had with Oni Lorcan, and then look at the match that Oni Lorcan had with Danny Burch, which I also hope is happening at TakeOver Brooklyn, but we'll get to that when we get to that. Aleister Black stays in the ring because he's in there for the main event. After all this, after they get me hyped for a potential match at TakeOver Brooklyn, they've got Aleister Black versus the debuting Kyle O'Reilly. Now, I know a lot of people were excited about this. I'm not, as you guys know, as I've gone over several times. I'm not an ROH fan. I don't follow the indies. I don't follow Japan. I don't even follow ABC, XYZ, GAFW, TNA, Impact anymore. So the whole... him and Bobby Fish, who I believe are known as Red Dragon... Let me know down in the box below if I'm fucking that up. Please do. But I know a lot of people have been looking forward to this match with Kyle O'Reilly, and they gave this match a fuckload of time. I will say about Kyle O'Reilly, I can't get a read on what his character is. Exactly, because he moves in a slightly different way. He's got a little bit of a deranged, not I don't want to say deranged, like he's retarded, because he's not. I like this deranged sort of like on a slightly different level sort of intensity to him, which, I mean, obviously if you're going to do that, debut him against Aleister Black. His former tag team partner debuted against Aleister Black a couple of weeks ago. It's all good. What these guys were pulling off in the ring was fantastic, and this was a great debut for him. I mean, obviously, you got to know they're not having Aleister Black lose anytime soon. But the match was good, and the match was long, and my notes, I will say, this is one of those things where I'll say go back and watch the match, because my notes don't do this match justice, but I'm going to try. They do they don't do the handshake thing like Asuka faked earlier. They do this sort of weird thing where O'Reilly's got his arm up. He's not like, you know, props do that, the whole fist bump thing, but he's got his hand like way up, and Aleister Black just kind of swats it, and I guess that's their version of a respectful handshake, high five type deal, because it's all good. They circle each other for a while, trading strikes and trading a bit of chain wrestling here and there, sort of testing each other out. More strikes in a front face lock by Black, triangle choke by Kyle and an armbar by Black, knee strike, snapmare, and a headlock by Kyle, reversal into a key lock from the headlock by Black, and then there's more strikes by both men. A lot of striking in this match, if you can't tell. Kitchen sink by Black and a running kick to the chest, boot by Black. Boot by Black. I fucking swear, why do you guys watch my videos? I can barely speak. Boot by Black. A second boot by Black. And a boot by Kyle. You guys know that have been watching me for a long time. I love it. The whole mentality, the whole psychology of anything you can do, I can do better. You're going to boot me, I'm going to boot you back. Suplex by Kyle, forearm and an arm breaker, and a knee bar. Arm drag into a facebuster by Kyle, and a body scissors. They trade some more blows, they trade some more kicks, some more punches, some more forearms. Hammerlock by Kyle into a knee drop. Snap suplex by Black, a hangman by Kyle, a wrist lock by Kyle, and some knees. He's got him in a standing wrist lock. While he's got him wrist locked, he's kneeing him in the face. That's wonderful. That is a great way to spend a Wednesday night. Springboard moonsault and a Black Mass finally get the win for Aleister Black. This feels like this match was half the show. There were 2 commercial breaks in this match, which doesn't happen on NXT that often. Great match. As I say, please, if you didn't see this, if my opinion means anything to you, which it might not, you might be watching this video just to laugh at me right now, but if my opinion means anything to you whatsoever, go back, watch this match. I don't know this guy. You guys know me. If I don't know the guys, I'm not nearly as invested in the match. I don't know this guy, Kyle. Yeah, I'm invested as hell in Aleister Black. I like the character. The idea of him facing Hideo Itami at TakeOver is awesome. It has that whole NXT, they have a match for each title and then 2 extra matches. So you've got that match and Gargano versus somebody. Please not send Andrade Cien Almas. But I only know Aleister Black in this match, is my point. Sorry, I got lost in my point there for a second. Kyle O'Reilly, I don't know from a hole in the ground. His tag team partner from a couple weeks ago, Bobby Fish, I didn't know from a hole in the ground. Decent match. Don't know him from a hole in the ground. This was a fucking fantastic match that I'm going to sit here on my camera right now and tell you you need to go watch if you didn't see it. Friggin' TakeOver Brooklyn right now. I mean, I will give the main roster credit. They have a heck of a pay-per-view coming up at SummerSlam. We got the Fatal 4-Way with all the big dudes on Raw, which is going to be great. You got Shinsuke Nakamura versus Jinder Mahal on the SmackDown side of things. Trash Bag still has the SmackDown Women's Championship, and it makes me cry just a little bit. But NXT, not to be denied, has Aleister Black versus Hideo Itami, Sanity versus the Authors of Pain, Asuka versus Ember Moon, despite the booking issues, and Bobby Roode versus Drew McIntyre. This is going to be a fun week of wrestling, or sorry, weekend of wrestling. I'm looking forward to it. They got to fill in the blanks just like Raw and SmackDown do, but we've got another 2 or 3 weeks to go before we get there. Really good episode of NXT. Built up the women. Gave me a match with Sonya Deville, which is great. Gargano came back. We got a debut with Kyle O'Reilly. We got another match set, at least one more match, if not 2, set for TakeOver. Very full show. Best hour of wrestling in the week. I'm just saying. I would love to say that I had something else to say, but I've run out of things to say other than I've been Spaz, your YWC reality check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation. Keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I'll talk to each and every last one of you later, but for right now, I am tagging out. Bye, guys. So shine if you're a freak like me.